What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. So this is where we at here. So we got Lapeef Network in the broadcast room tonight. As you can clearly see the title of the broadcast. So yeah, they're going to be talking about are women actually out here partying too much to be married?
So what the French toast is going to think about?
So listen, look, man, we're going to dive off into this. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Wrong with getting married young. We just gotta be wiser when we're young. Why are we waiting to damn 22 to start dating anyway? When you leave the house, so most people leave the house at 18, you should start dating then. You should start figuring out who the hell it is that you're trying to be with, what type of husband you trying to get with before you start sleeping with men. That's what Lady O was saying. We quick to have sex with men, but we not trying to sit here and figure out who's husband, who's leader, the stuff that y'all talking about. Who's the leader? Why I'm gonna submit to this leader? Like, I guess Laisha, y'all saying that she's staying at home, stay-at-home mom and all that stuff, picking a man that could provide and all the stuff that y'all looking for. We should be striving and looking for that at an early age. We're not doing that.
Say hello to our world.
There here we go. They hit me quick. They hit me quick.
Going to school, ain't nothing wrong with that, but we're going to school, we partying, doing drugs, smoking, having sex, orgy, all this type of stuff that women, I'm not saying y'all did that, but women today are doing that. They're doing all of that. So when you move out the house and you're striving, right, you're by yourself, you're an adult now, right, at 18, then that's what you should be looking for. So by the time you are 21, then you can get married because you should be wiser. I got married at a young age. I don't have that story that Naomi has or whoever else got divorced and they got married young. I don't have that story. That's not me. So I became wiser.
My name's Katira. My name's Katira. You can say my name.
You. I don't know. I never met you. I don't know your relationship. I said Naomi, first of all. So get out your feelings. Second, you have to make sure that you are.
You spoke in an example.
Hold on.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Was shots fired right then? Was shots fired right then? Man, listen, look, hold on here. Now we know women can get a little catty out here, but this is crazy. She told baby girl, get out your feelings.
Simple, because I was the one that was married at 22. So that's why I said just be respectable and just say my yes, you did. But continue.
I don't even know you. I've never even been on a panel with you. So get out your feelings, like I said. I don't know nothing about you. When have you seen me on here lately? Like, are you serious?
Continue.
No, I don't need to continue. Let's continue just having this conversation since you want to go there.
Yes, because you brought up 20. I was the only one that said that I was married at 22. So you literally talking about my situation.
I got my husband at 22.
So we're not doing that.
I got my husband at 22.
All right, ladies.
Like I said.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Now, you can get wiser at a young age and you can find you a husband at a young age. We just need to get our head out the gutter. Now, I understand that women today are not doing that. They're choosing to, get married later and have kids later, but that's a destruction. Because like Lady O said, all people are doing is having sex and having babies by multiple baby daddies, or even if it's just one. Y'all not looking for husbands. I feel like this whole conversation has been very selfish. It's been about me, and what I want to do. When it's supposed to be together, I don't see nobody trying to grow with no man. This whole conversation. I just hear this man has to be established. Not saying you can't get with a man that's established if he finds you and you are ready. Sure, get with him and then y'all good. But
hey, that's the point. Hold up.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Now, lady DTM over there, what she say? If he finds you, listen, look, you know what I'm saying? If we're gonna go by the old school standards and what was said, like the he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Okay, all right. So if we're gonna go by that principle, then yes, you know what I'm saying, a lady has to be found and she already needs to be in a wife mindset in order to be gathered amongst the, that guy, that's going to prove himself to be a husband towards her, and also too, the man has to be in a husband type of mindset in the way that he's moving in life. So yeah, it's it's a, you know, it works both ways. Everybody has to be in a marriage and a husband wife type mindset if you're going to have a family and try to build anything. But listen, look, I definitely agree with her what she was saying at first. You know, it's too much partying stuff going on out here, too many distractions in order to try to build any type of real family here in the 21st century. This is just, you know, these are just facts. This is what's going on out here.
But if he's not ready, then why we can't grow with men, and then eventually all this lifestyle that you're looking for, you will have at an early age. You're not going to be 45. Oh, I'm finally able to go to Dubai and go to fucking Africa. You could do that at 22, 25.
Okay, now I don't agree with that. What she talking about? Right? Hold on. What is she talking about now? Okay, I was agreeing with her at first. Now to me, she's talking a little bit outside of her neck. Due to this economy, due to the way things are going nowadays in today's society, it's not too many 21, 22-year-olds that can just afford to go to Dubai on their own. Now, you know, like how many 22-year-olds could just afford to take a trip to Dubai? You know, I mean, I don't. No, she talking outside of her neck with that one.
Because y'all not ready to grow with men.
And
how are you going to grow from 18 to 22, 23, 24 financially enough to take your wife and maybe your child to Dubai in today's economy? What, to Dubai? I mean, you know, maybe a trip to, you know, a theme park here in America somewhere, maybe. But all the way to Dubai, come on now. Like at 20 something years old, come on now. Come on. You haven't even established your career yet. What you started working at 9?
And what the French toast is there to think about?
I don't understand how these people think, you know what I'm saying, men make money on this planet. Like, it don't work that way. You know what I'm saying? You're 19, 20 years old as a young man. You're not making $100,000 a year at 19, 20 years old. Ain't nobody in their right mind going to pay a 19-year-old that much money unless he a rapper or something like that. And we see how they crash out all the damn time. What is she talking about? Man, to Dubai at 20 something?
As well.
Yeah.
You're married too?
Yeah. I'm married and I got 5 kids. I just had one. I'm on my maternity leave. I don't work. Like, I just had a child.
Wow.
My child is 4 weeks old, literally.
Oh my
a long ass break. But anyway, I'm out here. I don't work or whatever. I don't do none of that. I'm on here and I'm speaking, but I'm just saying, besides myself, I think that women should start young, not later. And you just have to be wise.
Will
like,
you stop sniffling on the mic, though?
Oh shit, my bad. I thought my shit was muted.
To Bo's point, I just think that we have to be wiser. That's it. I don't think that people that are immature and don't understand what marriage is should get married. I agree to that, Bo, to your point. That is very true. But I do think we just need to start younger when it comes to relationships as far as understanding what it is. That's all I'm saying. We need to change up the game. We're not doing that. Instead, we're just saying get married later, and then we just dumb as hell by the time we're 30.
Okay, so she's trying to promote. So Lady DTM trying to promote the marriage young, which, you know, decades ago, that definitely used to be possible. Now, we had other things and stuff like that in society, you know, where young men could, you know, graduate high school, go straight to factories, other jobs and stuff like that, which, you know, have been sold off overseas and stuff like that now. So we know what happened with those jobs. Those jobs are not even able to be had at this point. Now, what she's talking about is, you know, these younger people being able to start off life like that. You know, at one point in time in the history of this country, that used to be possible. You know, 19, 20-year-old young man could start working at a factory or something like that, and he can, you know, make a decent amount of money to be able to support, you know, a wife and children, stuff like that. Plus, also the economy was a lot more different back then as well. things were cheaper, stuff like that. But saying in today's society, it doesn't quite work that way. The society has rolled over to a different situation to where a 2 household income is definitely needed to a degree if you're going to try to build anything. And I'm talking about family, kids, all the whole unit, stuff like that. So it's not going to be able to be just middle class, super one person working in the middle class. It's not going to work that way. But she's talking about starting young, and women need to be more willing to start having children young, start being married young, stuff like that. It's going to have to be a lot of rearranging in society's mental process in order for younger women to want to be engaged in trying to be married at 20, 21 years old.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
I mean, let's just be honest here. It's going to have to be a whole overhaul of the mental situation, spiritual mindsets, all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? People's souls is going to have to be into this. It's a lot that's going to have to go down in order to get this situation popping like that. Where women are marrying younger, like how women of old used to. It's just different nowadays. Like I don't see a lot of these new age women talking about getting married at 22 years old in today's society. And I get it. It would make for, more flourishing families and better communities if people decide to grow up and become, more sustainable individuals in society and more productive people at a younger age. But that's just not what's being promoted. That's not what's being actually produced in today's society. So yeah, that's gonna be kind of hard.
Nobody's trying to start having no kids at 30. I said I want to stop having kids at 30, not start having them at 30. That's too old. I'm just saying that's to me. Now, I'm not talking about medical, some things happen where you can't have a child. I ain't talking about that smart person. I'm just talking, if you are able and you are fertile as hell, don't wait. Because we all have a life too. You want to be there for your child too, right? Like, I don't want to be an old ass parent. Start early, grow with your husband. That's a beautiful thing.
But when we start having those type of conversations, right, the problem comes in is where when we're talking about usually like the men that are good men, a lot of them were like really shitty and assholes when they were the same age as us. And a lot of us don't want to marry a shitty person and then let him grow in the marriage. I'm not going to lie to you, like emotionally, right? Because I tell people all the time, yeah, like I did get married super young. Well, like I met my husband super young and we stayed together until we got married, right? And the problem is like, he was terrible at 18. He was. So the thing is like, what woman are you?
Okay, so what Alicia B is basically speaking on, like in today's society, yes, due to the fact that the production of young men are not growing up with a lot of men in their lives and stuff like that. And I'm talking about the community as a whole here. You got one-offs, you got stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but I'm talking about the community as a whole, period. I always talk about the community as a whole. Of course, it doesn't apply to everybody. But the thing of this is, a lot of young men are not growing up in households with fathers and things like that in order to know how to conduct themselves as a man, know how to really control their emotions, And this is things that fathers actually provide for young men, how to, control your emotions, deal with issues, solve problems, make sure that you know how to, conduct yourself in polite society as a man, because society's not going to play with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, men, we don't get played with in society. I don't care what nobody say. You can not like it. You can say whatever you want, talk out the side of your neck all day. Society does not play with men, period. Get out here in this world, you are overly emotional man, you're gonna get fucked up. Period. As a man, you need to control yourself. You know what I'm saying? And at that young age, I can see what she's saying. Like most in today's society, most young men doesn't have that touch of, you know, male inspiration in their lives to actually understand how to really, you know, conduct themselves like that mentally.
Like saying is going to get married at 22 when the men are still in the strip clubs and the nightclubs and all the places that you say are not conducive for anybody to be able to build a relationship. And then here comes Darwin finna say the younger women need to marry the older men.
Well, I'm gonna say, why would you marry an 18-year-old who's not ready? Like, I'm not saying you got to marry a 40-year-old
because they want to groom them.
No. I'm saying, why would you? The example that you gave, like, right? I told you at 22, for me, I was wise at that time, right?
Well, no, when we got married was us older.
22 is still young. 18 is just when you move out the fucking house. You're an adult, right?
Hey, I'm Excel, and I'm Excel with Data Rail.
And most people don't move out the house at 18. Let's just keep that real.
Why would I, if you choose the wise path, right? You know relationships, you understand it, you're observant to the world, you see failure out there, you see baby mamas and daddies and they can't get it together. Why would you choose a man who was still at the club? That's not for you. That is not your husband. So if you have to go a little older, for me, for example, at one point, I thought I had to go older because you're right. There were men at my age that were not ready to be a husband, but I did not be with them. I did not stay with them, right? So luckily for me, my husband is only 2 years older than me. He was wise as hell at his age. Like, he was like 35, right? Mindset. I just got lucky with that. I wasn't trying to go 20 damn years to get a man that has it together. You just have to don't give up and be, you know.
I think we're giving the women too much credit at the age of 20, 22, as if there was a disparity of maturity, as if the women that were 20 and 22 wasn't trying to go on hot girl summers and just as reckless as the 20-year-old go. If anything, even more sexually reckless, given the disparity in options between a young 22-year-old baddie at the top of her prime versus a 22-year-old useless guy that's working at Walmart pushing carts. Like, what are we?
Right.
And what the French toast is going to think about?
Hey, you do have to think about that though. Listen, look, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm still calling him Bruiser because that's what I was introduced to him as on here on the internet. You know, years ago. I know he's not going by that now, but. Yeah, he's making common sense with that. At 22, we're talking about in today's society. You know, this ain't 40, 50, 60 years ago. You know what I'm saying? The internet, all types of things is going on. Information is at the fingertips. It's a whole different mindset that we're dealing with as individuals in today's era. And it's not the same way when back in the day, a 22-year-old young man, he had to be definitely responsible 60 years ago. You know, a 22-year-old man was different 60 years ago, 40 years ago. Let's just be honest here. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the people thought different back then, even at that young age, because they didn't have all these options and all this other crazy stuff that was going on in society. You know, yeah, maybe they went to, what little club in their city, stuff like that or whatever. But the thing of this is that they also, had a much more of a adult aura about themselves. They wasn't just, crashing out how these young people are crashing out nowadays. These young people are crashing out very bad. It's ridiculous out here. And that's just the truth. So, it's not the same. The thought process of, and I don't know if you hang around any young people, and I don't mean hang around, but if you interact with young people on these jobs and stuff like that, you could tell it's a whole difference. It's a whole difference in the mental structure and stuff like that, of the way that they operate. Like, it's crazy to me, be honest with you. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? They walk around with their pants hanging off their ass all the damn time. Half these young men don't even carry wallets. It's like, where your information at, son? Where your ID? Where your social security card? Where where your stuff at, bro? As a man, what are you doing out here? It's crazy to me.
Talking about. So yeah, obviously you would have to go, you have to level up the range of the age bracket or increase the age. If you are 22 and you call yourself submissive and you want to start a family young, then yeah, you don't have to bottleneck yourself into an age bracket.
But I wouldn't advocate for that. That kind of leads into my point, though. I wouldn't advocate for anybody that's younger to get married and like push that narrative, because I don't think I think here's the thing that I lean on a lot. I know for a fact that most of us that grow up in some type of ethnic background, your parents don't see you as grown. So what I hate is the narrative of 18 to 23, your parents still see you as a child, but the dating pool still tries to make it seem like they don't see you as a child. The only 18 to 23-year-old that you don't see as a child is the one you birthed. But then,
are you going to marry the dating pool, or are you going to marry your parents?
Right. Good question. Hold on here. They trying to commercial me to death. It's all good though.
Hell, if you bottle your neck to the standards of your parents, it's not vetting you to wife you or husband you, and there's a man that's eligible that's trying to get to know you and vet you, wouldn't you align yourself to what he sees, his vision, how to market?
You don't think that's strange? You don't think that it's strange that, like, so everybody up here pretty much has kids. You would look at your child that's 18, 19, or 20 and see them as a child, but then you'll go out into the world and try and pursue. That would be weird. If you think that an 18-year-old is a child, any 18-year-old should be a child.
I think we got to go back.
I mean, in modern society, yeah, we do see 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds as children. Sorry, but this is what we're doing here. This is what we're doing. You know, delayed adulthood. Now, like I said, if we go back, you know what I'm saying, 40, 50, 60 years ago, them people were not children. You had to get out and work, especially as a young man. You had to work. You had to do your due diligence to be a part of society. You know what I'm saying? You know, all that, 19 years old playing video games and shit. That wasn't going down back then. You had to get up and put in some work and start being a productive man. Now, in today's society, yeah, it is a difference. It is a whole difference. Like I said before, I see the difference. You know what I'm saying? You know, working certain jobs, you hire these young people, stuff like that. You know, their mindset is totally different. They don't think about anything that, has to do with being an adult.
Back first. I don't see an 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old as a child. We're talking about a human being that can go in the military and become a trained killer.
I think that's a poor decision too.
See, now that's a whole nother different live. But to answer your question, I do not see these are grown ass adults that can go and get locked up and do a life in prison. You're telling me that they can go and serve in the military and lose their life, but they can't properly plan how to be a father and a husband?
Yes, because we see it all the time. Couples in the military don't get married because they're good people. Because I'm saying young ones, because they're good, because they believe in good marriage and Christian marriage. No, we see the 18 to 23-year-old crowd in the military getting money because it gets them some extra money on their check. Because they don't. That's not how they're thinking. Okay, because they're not even mature enough to get there yet.
Listen, I agree with both. Look,
so what the French toast is there to think about?
Real talk. Both of them got good points at the moment. The thing of this is yes, you know what I'm saying? We about to wrap the joint up. The thing of this is yes, at this day and age, I get what Bruce was talking about. You're 18, 19 years old. You're able to sign up to go to the military. You're also able to get your own apartment. You're also able to get jobs, sign up for credit cards, all this type of stuff and things like that. So you're able to do adult things. But in today's society, you know, growing up the way that a lot of these children are growing up, some, you know, broken homes, things like that, a lot of chaos growing up, they haven't been properly trained in order to be and move like, you know, adults. They can legally do adult things. Yes, legally. But, you know, society is slow to catch up. We've also, you know, put our modern day young people in a huge predicament as far as stunning their, you know, maturity growth, as far as being able to be mature enough at certain ages and stuff like that, you know. And it's been going on for decades now. This ain't just something new. It's been leading up to this point here, to where we at right now, to where, you know, early 20 people, late teen, you know, late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, you know, they're not ready for any type of real stability and things like that, not mentally, and also too in certain cases not financially. That, you know, dealing with the marketplace as far as jobs, all types of crazy things, stuff like that. So yeah, man, it just is what it is. It is what it is. Both of them had some decent points and things like that, but nah, you know, I'm sorry, you know, it's on mass though, on the big picture, ain't nobody trusting no 19, 20-year-old with $1 million. I'm just, you know,
What the French toast is that?
not in today's age, not in today's age. Whether we like the truth or not, it is what it is. I'm talking about the big picture on mass here. You know, some people, you know, if you raise your children to be decent human beings and know how to work things a certain type of way in life, stuff like that, it is what it is. But the big picture of what's going on in society, nah, ain't nobody trusting no 19, 20-year-old with no $1 million. Hey, you know, I framed it that way so everybody will get the actual point. Ain't nobody trusting no 19-year-old with no $1 million. I don't care what you talk about. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, though, man, hey, this is a good one. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.